All right, let's start all over. Where were you
Okay.
born?
I was born January 25th, 1944, in Royal Hospital in the Bronx.
Did you have a sister?
I have one sister named Gail, and she was born July 27th, 1940, also in the Bronx.
Hmm. And you said you grew up in an apartment in the
Yes,
Bronx.
I grew up in an apartment in the Bronx
What street?
on 196th Street and Creston Avenue, and I walked to school every morning with my sister. We
What?
crossed a lot of main streets. I went to public school 86. It was in walking distance. And then when I went to junior high school, we would take a bus on the Grand Concourse. And it was to 183rd Street, and it was called Elizabeth Barrett Browning Junior High School. It was all girls, so we called it everything but boys. And then from there, I decided I wanted to go to a co-ed high school. So I went to Roosevelt High School, which was across the street from Fordham University. And I was there for 4 years. And I never went to college.
So, what did you do when you graduated high school?
When I was a senior in high school, I had a friend, June, who said, "Would you like to work and in New York?" She said, "I'm working part-time for this company called Weber and Hellbroner, which was a chain of men's stores." And she said, "And they're looking for summer help." So I said, "Sure." So I would take the train down to 45th Street in Manhattan. I got the job, and I wound up from working for the controller of the company, and then I started working for the women's buyer, and I enjoyed the job, and I stayed there, and that's actually where I met Daddy, where I met Marvin.
Hmm. So, what did you do for the controller? Were you
I never took typing or anything, so I would two-finger type, but he would type for me. So all I really did was answer his phones, get his coffee, talk to the other girls in the office. It was really nice. And then the company was bought by another company called Botany Industries, and they decided to put in women's clothing. So I worked there for about a year or two, and the controller was a very nasty guy. Not to me, he was very nice to me, the original controller, but he would curse out all the buyers and the salesmen, and I thought it was terrible. So I remember going in to the president of the company, this Ron Schneider, and I said to him, "I quit." And he looked at me and he said, "Who are you?" And I said, "My name is Arlene Janoff, and I work for Phil Silverman, and he's terrible because he curses a lot, and I just don't want to work for him anymore. I quit." So he says, "Don't quit." He said, "We're putting in a women's department, and we also need help for the advertising department." He said, "Which department would you like to work for?" So I said, "Well, let me meet both guys." I really had a lot of nerve then. "Let me meet both guys, and I'll decide." Well, the advertising department, which really sounded nice, the guy smoked. Jerry Duchin was his name, and he was a smoker, and I didn't like that. So I met the other guy whose name was Murray Levy, and he was a short little guy that looked like Sammy Davis Jr., but he was white with the flat nose, and I started working for him, and he was such a nice guy. He would send me out to to buy clothes. He would tell them what he wanted me to bring back. I would bring back samples. And I did that for about a year, and then he said to me, "I want you to go over to this sweater company. Pick out 3 or 4 styles that you think we could sell." I did that. I picked out what I thought he would like, and then I picked out 1 or 2 that I really liked. And when I brought them back, he said, "This is great." He said, "Now you're in charge of buying sweaters, Italian knits, and dresses." So I used to go every day to like 1400 Broadway, 1407, and sit down and, talk to the buyers. And I bought for 27 stores. Some of them were in Illinois, some of them were in Manhattan. So I bought for William Wanamaker's in Philadelphia. I bought for Greenfields I think there was one in Detroit, Michigan. and I bought for all the Broad Street and Weber and Hellbronner stores. And of course, every area is different. So if I bought for Garden City, I had to buy for the women that like to go to church and wear hats and stuff like that. I had to buy differently for the other stores in New York. And I was very lucky because I was so young, the salespeople from the companies really took good care of me. And if something didn't sell that I bought, they actually took it back. They let me have it on consignment. So I really enjoyed that. And I worked there until I was ready to actually, I worked there even after I was married, till I was ready to have David, you. And it was a really good job. I really enjoyed it.
So how'd you meet Dad?